Well, welcome again. If you came a little late, welcome. Oh my goodness, seeing all kinds of fun faces. I have a dear friend of mine here today, and I feel very blessed to have her here today. For over 20 years, Lanna Cairns has been a student and teacher of spiritual practices in New Thought and Buddhist communities throughout the country. She has a master's degree in religious studies and currently works as a licensed spiritual counselor for the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. Lanna's work as an organizer began in 1998 when she created Organized World, a consulting firm specializing in all aspects of professional organization. The New York Times, the Globe, the Mail, the Christian Science Monitor, Forbes Parenting, Self, Cosmos, Science of Mind, Wasatch Women, and Child have published Lanna's articles from 2005 to 2007. She also speaks around the country, sharing her wisdom with companies, Fortune 500 companies, and lectures, and on organizing, and on TV. I learned so much about you from reading your bio. Lanna's first book, Organizing for Your Brain Type, was released in May of 2005. And her second book, Every Child Has a Thinking Style, in April of 2006. Her work has been translated into Chinese, Japanese, Polish, and Portuguese. What? Lanna is a native of Canada, and she earned her master's degree from McMaster University. She currently lives in Salt Lake City, Utah with her husband, 2 sons, 2 dogs, Dudu, and Nina, a rescue dog from Romania. Aside from all of that, Lanna was my neighbor for a couple of years, and we spent many days in her back garden and walking around Liberty Park, getting to know each other and discussing one of our favorite topics, which is spirituality and awakening. So please join me in offering Lanna a very warm Satya welcome. Lanna Cairns.
Thank you for having me. It's so lovely to be here today. I drove up, it was beautiful. When I arrived, the church bells were ringing, so I thank you guys for whoever did that for me. That was it was quite a big introduction. It's like, whoa. So I'm very honored to be here. You're witnessing a miracle because my book that I've been working on and it's an organizing book on time and space for 8 years. But I had children and hubby and a full life was just released last Thursday. So you're really witnessing today, your prayers, music, we're all in this creative, energetic flow all the time. So when we claim it and celebrate it and it opens us up, we're really on the road to something really magical. So I'm very happy to share with you my, can you hear? You can hear me? Okay. Oh, no?
It could be louder.
It could be louder. Okay. I bet I need to do something, or no?
Did you turn it on?
It's on. Uh-huh. Yeah, good. Thank you. So as Reverend Ali said, I've been a practitioner for over a decade, a professional organizer, organizing consultant for over 20 years. And this book that I wrote really is just merging metaphysics and organization. I feel in life we talk about everything but spirituality, and if we do talk about spirituality, we don't even talk much about organization. How do we live our lives? What chaos do we bring? Clutter, clothes, everything. Books aren't clutter. How do we make sense of our surroundings in a way that's mindful? And how can we create a lifestyle that really supports who we are on our journey? So it's hard to live in chaos and to be a messenger of the divine. Some people, like Jackson Pollock, very creative, can live in that flow of that. But for many of us who have demands of jobs and careers and families and extended families, it's really important that we lead a mindful life in order to sort of, get into that essence and the divine flow of God. So my talk today is, how can you find God when you can't find your car keys? That's the only joke. So why do we get organized? You realize how important your physical piece is to your spiritual growth when you start to value it and prioritize it. That you have the gift of peace of mind, of peace of space, when you know where things are, when you can find what you need, when you bring space and peace in your environment, it actually seeps into your experience. So it's a holy journey we're on a sacred experience. And to honor how we live our lives really is a benefit to how we go about in our relationship with God. So organization is about the mindfulness you bring to time and space and how you structure your day. When you're not moving through life with belongings that just bury you, you leave no room for anything new to land in your life. If you clog up the movement of divine energy with all your stuff, you block new possibilities from entering. And it's really common sense when you see that energy, the things that we have in our life are real energy. And there's a religious group in India called the Jains, and they believe that everything has an energetic to it. And you see that when you look into your, pantry or your closet or your files or whatever you have, that when there's a lot of stuff, it's really hard to see the direction of your life. It's hard to see the direction of your next steps because of all the stuff you have. So here we're going to learn how your space supports your soul, and if not, then transformation is in order. And so as a religious science community, it's all about our thinking, right? Our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts of possibility, of opening up to transformation, of reevaluating our stuff in our life is a good thing. And we're never really taught that. We're not taught how to live our life. Kids graduate from high school, they don't know how to balance their finances, they don't know how to set up a space for them to be productive. We really don't value this because we don't really talk about it. So it's a very important aspect of the quality of your life that you want to have. So the power to change your relationship to things you have. And when you operate from a present moment that is steeped in choice and possibility and peace and calmness, you're able to focus on what are the next steps in your life. So when I have the need to fill up or the need to do something, I say to myself, this is my affirmation, I free myself from the need and burden of stuff, and I'm open to the creative vibration of the universe to fill me up. So let's all say that together. I free myself from the need and burden of stuff. I free myself from the burden of stuff. And I'll say it, and then I'll have you say it. And I'm open to the creative vibration of the universe to fill me up. And I'm open to the creative vibration of the universe to fill me up. How does that feel? So creating such a space, one that is supported by the spirit and encouraged by the soul, requires you to direct your thoughts in a specific and a productive way. When you learn to do the right things rather than a lot of things, when you realize that you do control time, that time is your friend, that time is like taffy. When I was writing this sermon last night and finishing it up, I thought, great, I'll spend a couple hours. It took me 2 hours, but if I would have said to myself, I'm going to spend 4 hours, it would have taken me 4 hours. So you really have the power of how you evaluate time, how you evaluate space, and how you evaluate your life, that it all is here. So I believe a couple things, that there's a source of good that always intercepts your life, that you're always under the grace of God in figuring out the next steps, the next possibilities of what you need to do. And the goal in life, I feel, this should be your aim to do whatever you can to find the place of centeredness where time stops and you feel connected to something deep within. Right? That we have everything in order so we can take in that moment, breathe in that fullness of possibility, of creation, of magic in the world, in our lives, when everything around is in a peaceful, organized way. So today I am going to talk about choice, vibrational choice, mentalization, and positivity. So we'll be done around 8 o'clock. So I got a sandwich, I have a hummus and pita bread sandwich we can share, but hopefully we'll be done by before my workshop. So choice. We all know that life is responding to you. That you create your world, that you live it. That your thoughts are things, they're powerful. And like Emerson said, consciousness is the only reality. It's the only thing that is true. Are the thoughts we have about who we think we are and what kind of lifestyle, what kind of life we deserve. That we have so much power in how we go through our day. Bless you. So nothing is happening to you from an external force. Therefore, focus on things you desire in an organized way rather than what you feel. So focus on what is good, what is positive about your current situation rather than going about what are my next steps. Getting in fear mode, getting in lack of kind of deep connection with your source. So to hold a mental image of your new space that you want to get organized, your new files. I have an issue now with photos in my life where I have a new computer, then I have my 5 old iPhones, then I have these discs I threw away. It is such a stressor for me figuring out the technology I need, and then I have to hire the technical wizard here to come over and help me because it's a challenge when you are unable to kind of create peace in that chaotic world. So the fastest way to improve any situation is to make peace with your current surroundings. Bless it, release it. You know, when I just read something the other day where they said 75% of the world doesn't live like we do. So the problem we have of too much stuff and not enough time is really a Western creation that we needed in this. So the vibrational choice that we put into the universe. Contemporary New Thought philosophers see that our lives are continually evolving from choice to choice, and that was mentioned today in the prayer. And everything in the universe is working on a vibration. Right? Do we all feel that? Do we get that? But everything we feel, stuff, stores, everything is just this vibrational flow that we either encourage or move away from, but everything is operating on this vibrational level. So changing the vibrational tone in your situation will change itself. By creating the mental mold for your experience to occur and walking in faith until it does, you are using your mind to change the internal rather than the external. And this is how change really begins. That your predominant thoughts on organization are what bring you your organizing style. So how many feel here that we can change our current situation? That we can have more space and peace in our life? That we can control time better and be at peace and friendly? Yeah. That we're moving in that direction of possibility of change, of transformation. So mentalization in religious science, we have the law of attraction, which we're all familiar with. And mentalization is a different concept. And it's really about when you take your ideas, they form a physical reality somewhere. But your ideas, I always feel like, and I relate everything to baking and cooking, but if I were to spread out the whole cosmic flow into a big sugar cookie form, and I take a cookie cutter and I press into it, the form I see is what I experience in my life. So that's how powerful we are to change our lives. That we take that cookie cutter and we impress upon it whatever it is. And so this mentalization, this concept that we really create our external experience, that we actually, we put a silhouette and we put stuff in it. That's what we do with mentalization. So if your vision inspires faith and action, you're on your way to manifesting a reality. An organized life is possible. You have to desire it, think it, to have it. It's like we always say in religious science, you have to pray, you have to treat and move your feet. You have to have that consciousness, and you have to be directed and focused until it arrives. Organizing, you don't want to talk about it. Every time when I go to the party and I mention what I do, people start confessing to me who their lives are. And Dr. Freud here is like, I just want a margarita. And not really think about that right now. But, in this way that when we talk about it, it frees us. We are open to possibilities, to look at time differently, space differently. So there is a force of good in the world. There's a force of good that intercepts your life at all times. and you feel that you're always under God's grace in all of this situation, especially when you're trying something new. So if you are conscious of this divine force of good and use it to be aligned yourself, it's a very powerful source from which to improve that life. So there's no one judging your thoughts or how you live your life, but perhaps your family. But you love them and bless them and send them on their way. But Eckhart Tolle once said something. He said, your primary purpose in life is to enable consciousness to flow into what you do. There's no limitations in God. It all works out. There's more abundance. There's more amazing thinkers out there. When I see the talent here today, I feel like, oh, let's just go to Vegas. Let's just do a church in Vegas. Before we go to church in Vegas. Because this is an amazing reflection of how great this is. From choirs to songs to prayers to, it was just phenomenal, the force of good that we have right here, that we're all together, that this community is special, that we're special for one another, that we matter. This is a big deal to all be together. So there's that force of good, because we came here to find our good, to find our truth, to find out something that resonates deeply within us. And so this force of good we're all tapping into. It's always here, always around us. And your reflection of what's in your life is a reflection of how deeply you believe that. So, to see all of your faces today, for me, it's like I'm grateful that we're all here together in this work, especially. So being positive, a positive way of life. So what are your thoughts about organizing? We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about time later today. Where did they come from? Pause. You have to inquire within. Be silent. You have learned that the first things you do to get organized is to change your attitude and perceptions about it. By starting with a compassionate heart that desires an organized and peaceful life, and by emanating feelings that reflect that achievement until you desire it. We say in religious science, we fake it till we make it. I had to keep going until I saw that book being manifested. But if you have that thought in your mind, it does take form. It takes form now. Eventually, it'll take form, I guarantee it. So cleaning up that mind and adapting to what has been positive, being around positive energy, is the best thing you can do. Being around people that can believe in you and say, you can get organized, you can clean up that garage, you can help your mother get situated in a new home. Organizing is physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's exhausting. I used to work nonstop when I was single, 10 hours a day, and I'd come home and I'd literally just pass right out. It takes a lot of you to assess who you are. And the energy of stuff, it weighs you down. So to really seek out positive people in this transition, to seek out positive, family members and friends and people in this community to help you find that peace in your physical surroundings. So again, positive thoughts create positive results. Nothing from the past can block your divine flow of good and the boundless possibilities that are available to you. In other words, you must keep your connection and your concentration clearly on the need to help you get organized. Find people, again, that support you. And, you're constantly making choices, so make positive ones. I have something that if I feel something worry or concern me, I immediately flip it. And we're going to talk about that in my workshop today. If you have a negative thought, how do we flip it? How do we make it positive right away? So we just stop that permeating thought structure in our consciousness and our vibrational flow, that we really seek out that positive thinking in our lives all the time, and especially when we're by ourselves driving, that we really, this morning had World Ministry of Prayer on, nice CD, and it was important when I'm driving that I zen out of it. So find people that support you, and the universe is always responding to you. As one of my ministers once said in Napa, that as we turn to God, God turns to us. Feel connected to yourself. It's worth it because what you give attention to becomes who you are. When you allow your connection, you thrive. So there's nothing blocking. It's energetic with our sets, we're energetic with our time, with our calendar, with our organization of technology. Nowadays we get emails from Facebook, from texting, from phone calls. There's so much going at us all the time that to have a consciousness of how to make it work and to design a lifestyle that works for you really helps you on your spiritual journey. So there's something I believe that everyone yearns for on this planet, and it's a deeper connection to God, to that source. I find that if I want to go shopping and thinking, I'm going to go to TJ Maxx and get a deal on something that I don't need, but it's on sale, so I'll buy two. What I need to do is go for a walk. to do is be in nature. What I need to do is listen to music if I'm auditory or do Tai Chi or yoga. I have to bring in that flow of abundance and goodness and possibility. And when you don't get your happiness, and we know this from external experiences, but from an internal dialogue that brings about peace, that brings about nourishing your soul. That's what I believe that people are really seeking for in life. My life grows richer as I invest my time and attention to contemplation. Simple living is achieved by acknowledging that all life flows from one source, and that is God. So first you have the power to choose how you want to be, how you want to get organized, what matters in your life. Second, you have the law of mentalization that reinforces your thoughts. The thoughts you have about organizing are about, and pretty much anything else, are coming back to you in a reality affirming their truth. Your job is to believe in an organized life's truth until you experience it. And third, the universe is always here for your good, and it acts on your behalf. So we're going to think about what we need to achieve in the workshop. We're going to materialize it, we're going to mentalize it, and put it into form in our lives. So to support you in your organizing efforts, the universe requires that you be open to change, and you be open to believing in your own success. And that's a toughie. It's a toughie when you have so much stuff to decide. And for us, stuff is emotion. If I get a gift from somebody that I don't need, I may not want to have it, but it reminds me of them, so I'll keep it. Well, my friend is worth more than a record or a CD or something. But we keep things because they give us memories of one another, which isn't bad, but we keep a lot of them. 6% of us are compulsive shoppers. We're always shopping and filling ourselves up. So to be mindful in how we live and how we can be in the world. So again, you don't create new organizing situations through action and doing initially, but rather you create a new organizing possibility through your energetic thoughts about it. Remember that if you want to erase clutter from your life, begin by having thoughts of abundance, thoughts of fullness of the present moment. The stuff you have that you're purging, that people need, you'll get it back again in a different form, in a better form. People need things. I take bedding and blankets and stuff to best friends. They always need stuff because dogs are everything apart all the time. So I don't feel bad giving. If you know the cause or a women's group women who are finally getting back on their feet, giving them clothes or support, whatever it is you have, then people feel less kind of sad to part from things. But if they know it's going to somewhere great, they'll give it up in a heartbeat. So again, when you desire to have fewer things and experience the extra energy it takes to tackle the projects that you have put off, things happen. As this vision becomes part of your psychological makeup, you see yourself in a new role throughout the day. Your mind loves to set goals, so use it when it comes to getting organized. Have clear intentions. It's all happening. This afternoon, we're going to talk about the power of meditation, the power of affirmations, the power of visualization. I do them every morning. I sit, and I don't count to 500. I don't see candles and angels flying around. What I do see is the light of God coming in me. So I center on that intention. I center on that every day. I visualize. I affirm. And those things shift your mind. It's like, when we have thoughts that aren't who we know we are, they're almost like, it's like when you go to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned. It's that 6-month stuff that's like barnacles, they gotta and I feel like that with thoughts, and I've just got to constantly work through it. This is this is the cross we bear as human beings, perhaps this lifetime. That we have to always keep working on our consciousness, keep working on our thoughts, bringing in abundance, bringing in the right people, knowing what works, what doesn't, what we need to be happy. It's very important. So when you give yourself the power to use your thoughts and make better choices, you're visualizing on the life that you want. So visualize order, live in order, and you live in peace. So I'm going to end with a prayer that I wrote in the book, and I have a whole section on prayers here, which I just, once you're a prayer, you're love to pray. So if you care to close your eyes, and we'll just do this together. And so this journey begins, shifting and understanding of myself and how I can live my life in an organized and peaceful way. Feeling the presence of divine order and perfection in everything that is all around us. I know that there is order and majestic design in all creation, and a peaceful, organized life is possible now. Knowing that I'm birthed in the creative source, I'm always welcoming thoughts of possibility and joy to lead the way in creating an organized life. My life is peaceful and organized now. I breathe in thoughts of openness and success, realizing that I have everything within me to live an organized life. My life is peaceful and organized now. I am grateful that the intelligence behind all experience is the same intelligence that lives inside of me. My life is peaceful and organized now. I set this prayer into motion, knowing that Thy will be done for the highest and best for all involved. My life is peaceful and organized now. So my mind, time, and space at home and at work are in order, and I now feel a greater sense of peace and purpose in all that I do. Amen. Amen. Namaste.
Thank you, Lanna. My mind is just buzzing now with all kinds of thoughts about going home and getting really organized. I started at my desk yesterday, so I wrote it early on top. Doesn't it feel good when you start to get things the way you like them to be? It frees you up mentally, so thank you so much. It's now time for our offering, so I invite the ushers to come forward. And here at the Satya Center, you might notice in our program we've been sharing with you our income and the expenses that are associated with us putting on what we put on here, and so your gifts are deeply appreciated. And thank you. It really takes our community to build, grow, and help our community thrive. So please join with me.
Joyfully I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am given.